Good morning, good morning. We've got myself, Richard Morrell, and Cameron Boyack on core commentary today, bringing you a lot of chat about the inaugural Newcastle 10K under the Top Flight series, brought to you by RunThrough. Cam, good morning. Pleasure to be with you again.
Yeah, it's good to be back. Good to be back on the commentary, back watching what's going to be an amazing race, hopefully. We've got some great runners and a great field lined up, haven't we, Big Red?
We have, absolutely. We don't know whether we've got the best conditions this morning. It looks a tad windy outside, but the main thing is it's warmed up since last week. No snow on the ground, which is always a positive when you're lining up for a road 10K, I guess, Cam?
Yeah, you're right. Bittersweet, I guess, because it's a lot warmer. A couple of days ago, you're talking it was sort of -4 about this time of the day. At the minute, you're talking maybe just a couple of degrees over freezing, which actually seems quite warm for the northeast at the minute. But it's sweet in the sense that it's slightly windy, but as you'll see as the course goes on, it's very sheltered because it's not down directly by the quayside, but it's on the road next to it. So there should be trees but sheltering most of the athletes for the majority of the race. But you can start to see now that the athletes are starting to line up. So what we're going to do is we'll talk you through sort of the course. We'll get going with some of the athletes. You can see them jumping up and down, trying to keep warm. Danny's on the bike. He's going to be running. So, we'll hopefully get going in the next couple of minutes. It's 8:58 at the minute, so 9 o'clock on the dot it will be starting. So, do you want to talk us quickly about where the course is going to go, Red? So we're starting down at the Urban Village. That's where the athletes' village is. Then heading along Quayside Road, past a few of the famous bridges on the quayside, and then all the way along Skinnerburn Road, again up the quayside and looping back down. It's a 180 turn at the top. Then the runners will head back down again, back into the quayside, loop round again, and then up and out into the second lap. So it's a 2-lap course, out and back. As we mentioned in the podcast, Cam, very fast and flat course. So yes, it is windy, but given the actual route and given the position of the trees along the quayside, hopefully the athletes will get some shelter. But we can see them all gathering along the start line now. Cam, obviously, we've both competed in athletics for a number of years, and you're still going. How do you think these guys are feeling right now, stood on the start line? Well, I mean, you can already tell by the amount of heads that are bopping up and down. I think it's probably a little bit chilly. Nothing too cold. Like I said, it's warmed up a lot over the last few days. You can see Joe Armstrong at the front. I'm sure he'll be raring to go after his recent 5K PB, 14:13 in Barcelona. The self-admission, he went off a little bit quick, but I think based on that, I'm sure he'll be going off raring to go. The adrenaline will be rushing, won't it? It's like at the start of a race, sort of wondering who's going to do what. The athletes will be playing out the tactics.
Yeah, I always think it's a funny one with 10K because you get yourself revved up for the start of this race and everything's going through your mind, but actually in terms of the race itself, it is a long drawn out race, so there's plenty of time to sort of settle into your running, settle into your tactics and decide how you're going to attack things. It looks like we're about to get started now.
Here we go, 4 seconds left and they're off.
And we're away.
Right, we'll quickly go through some of the athletes we've got in the lineup of the elite race for the men's and the women's. I'll start off with the men. We've got Cameron Allen from Horton Harriers. Cameron's in very, very good shape at the minute. He's got a number of wins over the cross country. I think he probably would have been a little bit disappointed with his Liverpool performance, and since then it's probably spurred him on to get going back roaring to go with training again. We've got Joe Armstrong, like I've just mentioned. It's fresh from his 5K PB, 14:13. I'm sure off the back of that, you would expect him to be looking to go well under sub 29:30 if possible. And you've also got Alex Brown. He's going well, strong athlete. Should see him with the Morpeth Harriers vest on there, along with the blue and the white stripes. We've got Jonathan Escalante Phillips from Cambridge and Coleridge. Can't quite see him yet. Do you want to, and then I think the next guy doesn't need much introduction.
No, he doesn't. No, it's local lad Callum Johnson, Gates at Harriers. Callum's former national cross-country runner in the counties, cross-country champion, Bladen 2023 winner, Great North 10K winner, so he's winning, and obviously he won the Jarrow 10K most recently as well. I think, obviously we've had a little chat of the field there, but just cutting back to this race, it looks like it's Dennis Kiplanger that's sort of hit this one hard from the off, really, and
Well, we did hear, didn't we, from the DRS director, Chris Pyle, that Dennis wasn't sub 29-minute shape from his agent, Richard Hunter.
Yeah.
He will no doubt be going out there trying to get maximum points to begin the series, get that prize money. He's also to be looking, I would have thought, to try and get that UK lead at the minute, which is 28 high at the minute, which was set in Valencia.
Yeah.
So we'll be looking to see if he can maybe get close to that. I'm not sure how it'll be with the conditions, but again, you can only go for it and see what happens. Not surprised, like I said at the start, to see Joe Armstrong sat on the back of him, tucking in.
Yeah, he's doing it.
Probably tucking in behind him and see how he feels fresh from his PB. I'm sure if he's had no issues after his recent 5K PB, I'm sure he'll be hoping to smash his 10K out of the park, and I'm sure he will do that, won't he?
Yeah, absolutely. Good point that Cam about him tucking in early doors. You know, we can see, sat from where we are, that is, it's very, very windy this morning. So we taken any of that like wind head on for the duration of this race, and if you can tuck in behind someone, he's doing the exact same thing. He's getting a free ride here behind Dennis Kiplanger, but it doesn't seem to be deterring Kiplanger at these conditions. So he must be fancying himself that he's in some kind of shape to think, right, well, I know what standard these lads are at, but I'm still going to hit this hard. I'm going to get out there early doors and I'm going to push the pace, and that's what it looks like he's doing. And these two seem, from the position that we are in and what we can see that they seem to have gapped in a bit of a march. Yeah, absolutely.
It'll be interesting to see if they can maintain this, though. The pace seems to be pretty quick at the minute. So, and we're still in the early stages. I mean, I watched the European Cross Country Championships, and I watched Liverpool, the European Cross Country Trials. Callum Johnson, you can see him in third, and Cameron Allen just tucking in as well behind. Not far, just keeping them within touching distance, but it's exactly how Callum plays it at the Europeans. He said his coach, Alan Story, very, very experienced. I'm sure he would have talked him through how he was going to run the race today, not to go off like a bat out of hell with the wind. Depends on what kind of shape he's in too. But I know for a fact that both of them will be in good shape, but he sort of sat back at Liverpool, so I'm sure that'll be sort of similar tactics. He'll reel them in at some point. With him being he's a very, very strong athlete. Cameron Allen sort of just tucking on the back. Current pace, though, it only looks to be sort of
dotting
around 3 minutes per kilometre. It says at the minute. I'm not sure how accurate that is. Oh, it's jumped to 250. I did think that was a little bit slow, but look, I'm sure that Cameron Allen looks like they're sharing the pace as well. Behind him, you can kind of see like Lawrence McCourse, Laura Waitman. We had a podcast about that, about being Laura's achievement today. So ironically, but no, it's good to see him running well from Morpeth. He's like 14.5-minute 5K PB, so I'm sure he'll be looking to dip under 30 minutes if he's in good shape. What do you think about the course then, Big Red? I mean, we were talking earlier about it being sheltered. I mean, it's flat as a pancake, you can see already.
Yeah, absolutely.
If you look at the left and right, it looks pretty sheltered. We should benefit from it a lot.
Yeah, 100%, Cam. I think, like we've said, it's a windy day, but you can see from this feed that we're getting now, it's very well sheltered. And like we touched upon earlier, it doesn't seem to be deterring them from getting out there and running hard from the off. So, it sounds bad where we are, but they might be thinking, actually, it's not horrendous. This, we can work with this, and they seem to be going for it. And the field is broke up quite a bit to start with, but it's a 10K race. It's not disaster stations this early on. There's plenty of time to reel them people in. People run 10K different, don't they, Cam? You'll know for yourself from doing them. Some people like to get out, hit it hard from the off. Others like to build into races. Really push through the second half of the 5K. I'm sure all these athletes are at a standard where they know the best way to run a 10K. So,
well, it becomes psychological too, I guess. Yeah. And you just look at Dennis Kiplanger. He's clearly got a game plan. He's just looked at his watch. He's clearly trying to push the pace from hard throughout to make sure he maintains that pace as well. Because if you go out too hard and you let people reel you in, and you've done all that work to drag everybody along, that can be quite detrimental and be psychologically, that can be quite tough to cope with. So it looks like he's just pressing and pressing and pressing at the minute. He's just trying to keep the pace going. I think Callum, like I say, and Cameron Allen likely looks like they're sharing the pace a little bit. I'm not sure if that's intentional or whether or not they've just got sort of slotted into that format. But Joe looks easy. I mean, his shoulders are nice and relaxed. You can tell if a runner's relaxed with his shoulder. But that's a bit of a surprise. Looks like Joe Armstrong's gone to the front. Maybe the pace has dropped slightly and Dennis has sort of realised he's being used as a bit of a pacemaker and doesn't kind of want to do all the work with the wind, which is could be a sensible move. But just to touch on what we were talking about and what Richard said is that when they're on the way out, and that's where the wind's kind of the worst, is that both sides of the course seem to be pretty sheltered. So they'll go out here and they'll turn left and go a bit further along. I think this is the most exposed part of the course. So you can see the bands on the right,
band there on the side, exactly,
But this is the most exposed part of the course. But again, it's not overly exposed. They've got the quayside on the left, but the right hand side seems to be pretty sheltered.
Yeah, we can see that the group's coming together as one now. So maybe the pace has potentially eased off, or Callum Johnson's decided to maybe take a little bit closer order to that lead pack. So they've came together as a group of 4 now. They did go through 2K in just under 6 minutes. So, it is around that 3 minutes per K mark, which is going to bring them home in about 30 minutes. You'd imagine that they're gonna rally the last few K. So,
I think
at this point, it's going to be a sub 30 race. But
I think what you'll expect now, to be honest with you, Rich, is that Callum will hit the front, which it looks like he already is.
Right on
he
cue.
won't want that pace to drop because he is strong. And I'm telling you, Cameron Allen, he won't want the pace to drop. His 10-kilometre PB is the fastest in the field, 28.5 minutes. That is rapid. He's in good shape. I'm sure he'll be. Whether or not they're on PBs today, that's a different matter. But it's all relative. If the wind's strong and they're going out quick, for what the conditions are like. A 29.5 minute. I mean, if you put that in somewhere like Valencia, you're going to be knocking in a minute off there, maybe potentially, depending on how training is going. But again, Callum's hit the front. He's not afraid to run hard from the front, and I'm sure he won't want to make this an easy race. I'm not surprised that Dennis is sort of tucked in. We weren't really sure. We don't know him as an athlete quite now. All we know is that he's like I said, his agent has said that he's in sub 29 shape. He was 6th in twice actually in the Ugandan national championships for 5K in both 21 and 22. I think we know that the runners and the quality and caliber of runners in Uganda at the minute, so that's decent. You can see as well on the mass participants as well on the left hand side. I mean, these are all A-race runners, all sub 40 minutes just to get into that race. That shows the caliber of athletes at the front right now. I mean, we can't see behind us. I'm not sure who you would expect to see behind us. What do you think?
They
Rich?
did clock the second group just as they were going past there. There was Alex Brown, Lawrence McCourt in there with the two vests that I recognised there. And I mean, these guys, again, like we mentioned in the podcast, these are all sub 31 minute runners. So it just shows the level that this lead pack is operating at. I think it's getting to the point now where these guys in this lead pack they'll felt each other out for the first couple of K. Obviously, there was a little break early doors and Callum Johnson's brought things back. They're all in this group together. I wonder now, Cam, whether these guys are starting to think a little bit about the prize money, the race series overall. I think, from looking at the top flight prize list that we've got in front of us here, first place today, it's a minimum of 450 quid. That's going to be on your mind thinking, it's £450 at stake here. But then, as we know from the series that the top flight have brought to us, for those who didn't get to see the podcast, Top Flight in association with RunThrough, it's this Top Flight series is number of races throughout the year over 2024, and your 3 highest scoring races contribute to an overall points system, and there will be cash prizes for that, and the cash prizes themselves are really hefty. If you're first place over the full series, then you're going to be walking away with £1,000. So again, if these guys are eyeing up the potential of completing the series, completing 3 races in that series and trying to take maximum points at each one of them, then actually the time element of things doesn't become the priority. It then becomes about, well, actually, I want to win this race, because if I want to win this race, I'm going to get more points. And as we know, Cam, points mean prizes in the Top Flight series. So I think that's going to be in these athletes' minds, isn't it?
Well, not just the guys at the front. I mean, we're looking at the guys behind as well, the guys that are in the pack behind, just as Rich was mentioning, the likes of Lawrence McCourt. I haven't seen Jordan Rowe on the start. He was down to run. He's ran 8:15 recently for 3K in Dawson. He's in good shape. He's just over 30 minutes for his higher 10K PB. I don't think that's relative to the form he's probably in. I don't think he runs probably 10Ks as often as what he does shorter distances. So those guys behind, like Rich has just said, it's the top 10 that contributes to their series points. So first place maybe 25 points, but it goes all the way down to 10th place, and you still get 1 point. So it's spread across, so every place counts. So these guys, they've probably seen the conditions today and realised, we can hear the wind battering off the windows when we're in the studio at the minute. And, I'm sure they're sitting there thinking, do you know what? This might not be the day to maybe challenge the UK lead. So let's just go for the race. Let's race it out. Here's the group here. You can see they're racing out now. So you've got another 3. Looks like Alex Brown. Looks like Alex Kilby as well.
Yeah.
There's Jordan Rowe just running past. Alex Kilby, a great runner indeed. He's just coming back from injury. So to be honest, to see him in that second pack, I mean, that's a pretty...
Yeah, he's having a good run there.
He's having a great run, yeah.
Absolutely.
He suffered, I think he had something like 3 or 4 stress fractures in one foot recently. So it's great to see him back running.
Yeah.
We missed him at the Jarrow 10K recently, which was another run-through event. But just to get back onto the series prize money, there's £60,000 worth of prize money in total. That's all been contributed from RunThrough. For this race, it was £200 up for grabs for the winner. But throughout the year, there's races once a month, every month. So I'll quickly just tell you that January, which is this month, this is the Newcastle 10K. So this is kicking off the series. Then we've got February, we've got the Warwick Half, which is the part of the Wiggly Group. And then in March, we've got the HSW Solicitors, Nantwich 10K. We've got in April, which is, I can imagine, will probably be quite a big one, is the Battersea Park 5K, and it always is a big race. In May, we've got the Run Aintree 5K. June, we've got the Jubilee Bridge 10 kilometres. Do you want to talk through the rest from July onwards?
Yeah, so following the Jubilee Bridge 10K, we've got obviously Battersea Park CTS 5K, and then we're back down the Quayside on August for the Quayside 5K, followed up in September by the Warrington 10K, back to the Jarrow 10K in October, Battersea Park Half Marathon in November, and then finally finishing in December with the River Valley 10K. I think, this top flight series that RunThrough have brought to us, Cam, it's something that, we mentioned this in the podcast, and we've probably chatted about this for many years, that it would be good if there was a series like this where you could compete. It's almost like a league system. And, RunThrough have brought that to us. And I think it's just sort of, this move that RunThrough have made is probably synonymous with the business and how things have gone over the years. The UK's and in Europe's fastest growing running event company, 2024 looking to host 240 running events. That's like, if you imagine cramming 240 running events into the year, it's insane numbers. And I just think, it fits with RunThrough's mission of inspiring an active nation through running. You can't argue with that when you've got 240 races on through a year, can you, Cam?
Well, definitely not. RunThrough very much, they're dedicated to inspiring and making sort of contributing to an active nation through their running. They're engaging this year, or predicted to be engaging with around about 250,000 runners across the country, which is absolutely phenomenal. They've got a strong emphasis on fostering a sense of the community and the camaraderie with the participants. It shows the popularity that the RunThrough events do have, and with, like I say, without the people who, aside from the elite, without them attending the events, the atmosphere wouldn't be the same for the elite either. So
yeah,
it's great to see that RunThrough sort of contributing to both the elite scene and also with helping new runners engage and maybe start running. That's something I touched on at the Jarrow 10K, where there's a few people, and it'll lead us on actually now, to be fair, to be able to talk quickly about the women's race, that there is a few runners in the women's race who only maybe 3 or 4 years ago started running at a RunThrough events and are now running for England. One of those is, in fact, Jasmine Woods. She ran for England as an under-20 international in Cardiff at the Cardiff 5K in the summer. And 3 or 4 years ago, she decided, I'm going to lace the boots up. I'm going to run. There's a RunThrough event at my local near my local area down south. She did it, loved it, and now she's an international athlete. And I'm sure she'll be out there with another we've got another 3 ladies in the elite event today, trying to battle it out. Sophie Pikett, I'm sorry if I think I got that one right this time, Sophie, and I know I got it. I know she joked last time at the Newcastle 10K that I said her name wrong, so I do apologise. She's running for Elsie Harriers. Jasmine's running for Durham City Harriers. Both of them 34-30, both northeast runners. Great to see. And also Emily Kearney as well with a 33.09 PB. And also we have an additional entry. We didn't talk about her in the podcast because she's just joined the race. Rebecca Robinson from Kendal AC, another 33.09 PB, which is quite unheard of to have such 2 PBs within two sets of runners within a second of each other.
Yeah.
That's usually pretty unheard of. I'm not sure what sort of shape Rebecca Robinson will be in. I don't think she's run 33.09 for a number of years, but I'm sure she'll still be battling with the rest of the girls. I think in the podcast we got sort of touched base about how Emily had run a marathon, and 2 weeks later she'd run Ribble Valley and run 33.50. Was it 59?
Yes,
Rich?
yeah, I think so.
But that's actually, I think, if we look at the personal bests of Sophie and Jasmine, you might think 30 seconds off of that. That's quite a long way, but honestly, the shape those two are in at the minute, both winning races, both running personal bests, I can imagine this is going to be closer than what people think. I think this is going to be going again, just like the men's race. We can't actually see them in the camera now, of course, because we can only video one race at a time at the front. But we'll see them towards the end, I would have thought, and I'm sure that they'll be all battling it out, similar to what we can see at the minute with Dennis at the front, and Cameron Allen and Callum Johnson just sitting there behind.
Yeah, it looks like there's been a significant break at the front of the men's elite race here. Like you said there, we've got Callum Johnson, Cam Allen, and Kip Langert that have seemed to have stolen a bit of a march on the rest of the field now. We're just over 6K in. They're still operating around 3 minutes per K pace. So again, we're looking to get under that 30-minute mark, and it seems from the way that they're pushing it that it's going to come in under 30 minutes. I mean, we've only got a rough estimate here just by the gauge on the time clock and the pace of what they're actually running. It's dropped down to 2:40 per K at the moment. So it's hard to definitely know how quick these guys are shifting, but it's certainly going to be in keeping with sub 30-minute pace. I think now we're getting to the thick of the race. Coming up to 4 miles in, we've got 2 miles to go. I think now this is where, if you're in this lead pack and you're feeling good, this is where people are going to start thinking about how they're going to win it. And I think each athlete is probably going to have a slightly different way of winning it. I think someone like Callum Johnson, he might be looking to make a move in the next mile or so and really starting to grind that out from a long way home and take the sting out of these guys. Kip Langert, again, we've touched on this before, Cam. We don't know a lot about Kip Langert. We don't know a lot about his form. What his finishing pace is like. He could be similar to Callum Johnson and want to grind it out from a long way. He actually might be a bit of a kick out. We don't actually know that. So it's hard to predict what he's going to be thinking.
I think just touching on that, you can see Cameron Allen is itching to go.
Yeah, he does. He looks easy, doesn't he?
Yeah, he does. And Callum does as well. Like I said before about the way Joe was running at the start, you can usually tell if someone's sort of feeling quite comfortable just by looking at the shoulders. You can see both the shoulders of Callum and Cameron quite relaxed. Same with Dennis, to be fair. It's hard to tell whether or not he's just sort of sitting back.
Absolutely.
He's got a great 13:55 5K PB, which means that the second half of the race, I mean, it was clearly slower at the start. Now that those three have took off, I'm sure he'll be raring to go as well, and sort of maybe looking at sort of going through the heads now will be like thinking, right, when am I going to kick? When am I going to make my move? When am I going to show my cards?
Yeah.
That's the big thing.
Yeah, they're all looking easy. They're all looking relaxed. So it's going to be interesting to see how this plays out. But we can see we're coming up to the next 180 turn shortly, and then the guys will be heading back into the Quayside.
Well, it looks again like Dennis clearly is pushing the pace.
Yeah.
So it would not surprise me, and you never know in these events what can happen, especially when you get back and you turn around and you look at when you turn around and see where when they're closer to home, when they're going to sort of kick on.
Yeah, Cam Allen just looking at his watch there. He looks relaxed, doesn't he? he's a big lad as well for a
He's
10K
got a
runner.
long
He's a big
stride.
lad, yeah. And
He's got a great pedigree over 15 as well. He's got a 3:43 PB. He's sort of chopping his stride. Here comes Callum. He's different. I can imagine the first person I would expect to make a move here is Callum Johnson.
Yeah.
23rd at the European Cross Country Championships recently. As far as I'm aware, he did have an issue going into that too. So I don't know if that was reflective of his shape at the time. Coached by Alan Story. I'm sure Alan maybe will be watching with his partner Nikki back home. So if he is, big shout out to Alan. Cameron Allen, coached by Lynn Cooper, doing a great job. He went to the Commonwealth Games for the marathon for Scotland, as far as I'm aware. So under great watch, these two North East athletes.
A little bit of jostle. Oh.
You can see the win. I think Callum actually got blown there to the right.
Yeah, he did. It is. I mean, we can tell just in the studio here that the wind is just. It's picked up dramatically in the past few minutes, and that's going to be a factor. 100% is going to be a factor for these lads. It might actually suit Cam Allen with being from myself being a taller athlete and a little bit heavier. He's not going to take the brunt of that wind as much as, say, someone like Kip Langett, who's a much slight frame in comparison to him. But yeah, I think it's not often you see athletes get blown onto the curb there, and I think it's just a testament to them battling through these conditions and still operating around that 30-minute mark. We can see a few athletes in the background going through there into the...
Looks like Alex Brown just went past. It looks like Jordan Rowe. It actually leads me on because Jordan Rowe is actually he's actually coached by Lewis Moses. I wonder if Lewis is either here today or whether he's watching online. So if Lewis and his wife Gemma are watching, hello to them. I know that he is also the founder of New Levels Coaching, who is one of RunThrough's wide sponsors. Also running retreats. He's also founder of that. So, doing great things.
Yeah, he's doing great work, Lewis. Yeah.
Taking runners abroad, onto training camps, very, very fancy places, and also taking you through all the technicals that you need to know as a runner and all that. And basically, you're living the life as an elite athlete, as and you would expect. Lewis has been himself. He's a GB international.
Exactly.
His wife's Gemma, also an international athlete. So they know the ins and outs, and I'm sure if you go on these runner retreats, it's worth every penny. You've just seen Jasmine Woods just went past. I'm not sure. I didn't see any other females in front, so I'm not sure.
I haven't clocked any.
We'll see that more as it comes back round. I
think back to what you were saying about Lewis's New Levels coaching and runner retreats. I think one of the key things that's, it fits with the RunThrough company as well. These companies are ran by athletes that have been involved in the sport from junior level. And I think one of the key benefits of that is as yourself, if you've been an athlete, as yourself, what are the type of things that I would have wanted when I was an athlete progressing through the ranks. Similar with RunThrough, similar with this Top Flight series, these guys are just trying to bring to the running nation what we would have wanted when we were coming through the ranks. And I think, it's a testament to them. And there's reasons why these things are working is because there's demand for it. Yeah. And it's just, it's great that these guys have cottoned onto this and are really pushing these things. Touching again on some of the sponsors, the event partner for RunThrough is Red Bull, so be supplying us with caffeine this morning in the studio.
I'm sure maybe that's why we've seen so many heads bopping up and down.
Exactly, yeah. There've been a few cans dropped before the start.
Sure, Red Bull will have helped boost a few PBs today. We've got Spot as well, another one of RunThrough's wide sponsors. Sport Shoes doing great things with events around the country. I'm sure they're involved in some of the podium events, the podium 5K events. Where the British record was broken a few years ago. You've got Lovecorn as well, and also GoFundMe, another sponsor of RunThrough. So big shout out to them for making this possible and helping put on these events with RunThrough. Yeah.
So Cam, you can see we're coming into the last mile now. 25 on the clock. So they're shifting well. They're shifting around 30-minute mark. They're still all together.
They are still all together.
I'm a little bit surprised at, but I think if Callum Johnson's planning on the win, which you would assume he is, I think now is the time. That he needs to be really putting the boot in.
But to be fair, Dennis just hit the front again. So that's quite surprising, but I don't think Callum will want the pace to drop. So no. I think he'd be happy for that. But at the same time, I think I've watched Callum race a number of times. Again, here we go. It looks like he's starting to hit the front now.
Definitely.
Like
and Cam Allen is tracking. And he's not letting him out of his sights at all. I think what Cam Allen's got in the back of his mind is being a 343 1500 meter runner. He knows he can shift. He knows he can kick. So he's thinking, well, if I'm in contact with 100 to go, then it's game on. We'll see what happens there. But yeah, he does look relaxed, and he's not letting Callum Johnson out of his sight. I think for the first time in this race, we're seeing a little gap being formed, and Kip Langert looks as though he's coming off the back. He's just lost maybe 1 or 2 meters there. He may rally, but with a K to go, it looks like the boot's gone in, and it feels as though Kip Langert hasn't really got any answers to the questions that these two are asking of him at the front. Oh,
Callum's still pushing there. Cameron Allen tracking every stride, literally on his back.
Yeah.
He looks like, I can imagine, I mean, to be honest, the thing with, I've said this before at Newcastle 10K, when we're watching these events, you know, you look at them on video, it doesn't look like they're going that quick, but actually these guys, they're running rapidly. If you see them in real life, you would realize it's just because the caliber of athletes, they look so fluent. You know, if you look at Cameron Allen, sort of tracking Callum, he looks comfortable. He's checking his watch. I mean,
he looks very relaxed.
Exactly,
he looks very
Said,
relaxed.
Rich. I think he's definitely going to be sat on Callum, hoping that he can, hang on for the last 100 meters, maybe try and work his way past. But to be honest, in a 10-kilometer race like this, when it's going at this pace, it's not always about speed. It's about strength. It's about sprint endurance, speed endurance, should I say? Sorry. So I'll be interested to see if Cameron's got any kind of kick in his legs. I know that he said he's not doing indoors to me. I spoke to him a few months ago. He lives quite close to me. He said to me that he's aiming for the roads and he's aiming for the cross country. He's proved his form on the cross country. This is his time to prove it on the roads. So he'll be wanting to, get that scalp of Callum. He's Callum again, like we just said. Callum did finish in front of him at Liverpool. Callum finished 5th at the European Cross Country Trials. He was in the European Cross Country Championships running for Great Britain. Cameron will be wanting to sort of get one back, one over again on Callum. Absolutely. You can see him.
You can see these boys are coming in with 500 meters to go now. It's not far. This is it where we're really starting to get the moves being made. And it looks like Cam Allen is, the stride for stride. This is really exciting stuff to watch unfold here as they head back into Quayside. Cam, who's your money on? Make a call quick. We've got 400 to go.
It looks like Cameron Allen's hitting the front.
I think I fancy Callum Allen. He looks relaxed. He looks easy. And he's, for the first time, he seems to have hit the front a little bit here. And you would think, like we've mentioned, that 343 speed, you would fancy him. And it looks as though he's got half a yard on Johnson, but he's still there, isn't he? And he's strong. No, he's not at all.
He's still there. He's still within touching distance. This is anyone's game as you come the home straight now.
Oh, here we go. Johnson looks as though he's pulling out a touch as well. 250 to go.
Cameron, it looks like Callum's picked up the pace again. It looks like Cameron's digging deep. It looks like Callum could come past him here if he doesn't pick up the pace. It's stride for stride as they go all the way down the home straight. We're coming into what is probably now the last 150 metres.
Yeah, 150 to go.
There's still touching distance, a stride between the two of them. Callum's, you can see the arms pumping. Cameron Allen, head going down.
Oh, these boys are really going for it now. Callum Allen opening up at the front there. Johnson, come on, lads.
It looks like it's going to be Cameron Allen. Yeah, he looks like he's took it. Just take it from Callum Johnson.
Great time as well. 29.28 for the win, it looks like that.
Like this, there's gusts of winds in the 30 kilometres per hour this morning.
What a battle that was. So I presume we've got Kip Langert going to be coming in third again. He's still going to be under 30 minutes. A great run from him. We know a little bit more about him now. We know what standard he's at. A fantastic race there for the top 3, Cam.
Looks to be as well. It'll be interesting and intrigued to see who's going to get these points, because there's a lot of points up for grabs here in the top 10. So we'll be able to hopefully be able to see that at some point soon. The next run has come through. So you've got the third place is still 15 points. You've got to remember when you come up to these some of the other events, when you get further into the year, let's say the Battersea Park 5K, to get 15 points and get third place at a race is going to be tough. You're going to have to run pretty darn quick. Yeah. So it's crucial that events like this, you get as many points as you can under your belt. Yeah. Because that's going to count towards the overall standings at the end of the year when you come to round up your points and you look to get the overall prize money, because there's some big prize money there.
Absolutely. Cam, I think that's the key thing with this series is, you don't have to go 1-1-1 and you don't have to win every single race that you're competing. If you're consistent and you're in the top 3, you're going into Ribble Valley, you're going to be in a position where you've got a good amount of points. You don't know what anyone else is going to do through the series, how they're going to play things out, what races they're going to target. So you target your races smartly. you might not necessarily be a sub 29-minute 10K runner, but if you target your races smartly, you're finishing in the top 10, you're going to have consistent prize money potentially coming into you there from consistent results. So back on the feed here so we can see some more of the athletes coming in there. That looks like
Lawrence McCourt,
30:45. Again, that's a good run for him. That's around PB mark. But like we've touched upon, these conditions very challenging today.
Armstrong coming in, and looks like he's maybe dropped his pace quite a bit.
Yeah, I mean, Joe hit it hard. He went with the pace. He had a go.
So there's Alex Kilby coming in. Great run from him. Great run back. You've got to start somewhere. Great to see him running back from Durham University.
Alex Brown.
I touched base with him not so long ago. Him and his partner Lydia. Alex, he's doing 2 jobs at the minute. He's just adjusting to that. So we'll take some time. Here comes Jordan Rowe. Well, coming back 31-22, and like we said before, it's 8:15 over 3K. You can tell that this man, he's been training specifically for 3K and the shorter distances. So you couldn't expect him today to. I'm not sure where his trainings are, but it's not always going to translate into the longer events when you're training for specific shorter events.
Another athlete there in sub 32. I think, athletes run under 32 minutes in these conditions I think that's
very good indeed.
Absolutely. I think it's a testament to the course because it shows the course itself is very quick. Got another athlete there, again under 32 minutes. I think so. It's travelled far and wide.
Here's Stephen Jackson. Great run from Stephen. Great to see him in there. Bagging himself some points as well. And there we go. Here's George Lowry, coached by Nathan Shrub.
Yeah, part of the LD crew.
Nathan Shrub still doing a great job of carrying on the legacy of Lindsay Dunn. Coach me and Rich behind the mic. We've both been coached by Lindsay in the past, haven't we?
Yeah, I've done a few sessions with Lindsay.
Yeah, so, great to see him still carrying on the legacy.
The local Gateshead vest there coming across the line.
It's great to see so many local athletes out here competing because, it's rare that we've had a chance to have, over the years, me and Rich have been competing for, sadly, quite a while.
Because we're old.
Getting there, aren't we?
Andrew Swinburne, 32:45. So Andrew, a little bit of a backstory with him. Local physio, trained as a junior, didn't really do much, struggled with a lot of injuries, and then he's came back into sport later on in life and having a good run. Oh, here we go. Is this the first female?
Here we go, Jasmine Wood. Well done, Jasmine. Jasmine's won women's 10K. It was hard to see. I seen her on the way back. Wasn't quite able to see where she finished. Where she was at. But look, you can see how overjoyed she is, and I can imagine she's probably quite surprised because I know personally I went to Durham University and I've trained alongside these people and I've still touched base with a lot of them. And I know that it was submission week for her. She had 3 submissions in the last week, and everyone who's been to university will understand the sleepless nights you have. And over the last few nights, she's had no more than 6 hours. So great to see her running so well. I'm sure her coach will be over the moon. That's a massive PB. I think was that sub 34 minutes roughly.
It was. I think if that's official, 33:39. It looked like she went across the line in there. So her PB before this was 34:32. So in these conditions, she's taken 50 seconds off a PB. That's a fantastic one. And given a bit of context about the insight that you've got into things there, that is a significant run for her. That.
Great job, Aaron Park. And there's our second female finisher. Well done, Lauren Dixon.
And he's another. Is this the second lady? I'm not sure if we missed the second and third, but that was great coming through. Another lady there coming through. I'm not sure if that is Emily Kearney, maybe. Yeah, it looks like Emily Kearney. We weren't sure what sort of shape Emily would be in because I know she was doing a marathon December time. Normally athletes tend to have a bit of time off for training after that. I'm sure any athlete who's done a marathon will be able to resonate with that. The soreness that accumulates in your legs over the next sort of 3 to 4 weeks as you kind of need to have some downtime. So I can imagine she's probably not been at full training capacity. So I'm sure we'll see her back. Maybe she's already building up for her next marathon.
It's one of the other female athletes here crossing the line there.
I think that's Rebecca Robertson actually from NZAC.
Yeah.
So when she went, and it's Sophie Pikett as well from LZ Harriers. So there's already. I think that's your top 4 and top 5 female athletes already bagging points. Jasmine would have bagged herself top 25th. 25 points already, so that'll board her well throughout the series. Another two first place finishers in the year, and she's looking at a top prize of £1,000 if depending on how other athletes run.
Yeah, so we've got a rundown of the results here. So obviously we had Cam Allen in first place there, Callum Johnson second, followed in third by Kip Langert. Fourth place, Lawrence McCourt. Brilliant run from him. He'll be over the moon with that. Joe Armstrong in fifth.
It's Alex Kilby, looks like in sixth place, in bagging himself with 8 points. That's a good score on the board for him to start the year off. We've got Alex Brown, who was in seventh place. Like I say, he was battling a couple of jobs, so I think he'll be pretty happy with that one.
Yeah, so those are some of the top 10 men.
Stephen Jackson was in there as well. He's a veteran 40, I'm sure.
Yeah.
But I'm sure he's actually a veteran 40, so I'm sure it'll be first place for the vets for him as well. So that's a great run from him. Some points on the board, I think. So yeah, I'll be happy to see that. There's a Crook AC vest coming through there as well.
Oh, local vest for you, that
local
Cam.
vest for me. My dad used to run for Crook, so it's great to see. Here's Leonora coming through. Leonora Lynn, great to see Leonora for the Durham University vest on there. So that's 37.70. That's a PB for her. That's a big PB. Her PB was 30, over 30. It was 30 and a half, I think. So that's great to see her running the PB in these conditions. I'm sure next time she's out in great conditions, she'll be raring to even smash that even further. I seen her training down the track the other night. She looked in great form. She was training with Jasmine Wood, who was incidentally the winner today. So that's no surprise. Another note as well, Jasmine. I mean, I'm not really surprised that she's running as well as she is. She's just smashing her PBs everywhere at the minute. And I think
we have another female athlete coming through here.
Through from Jarrow.
Yeah, Jarrow.
I used to train at Shilton, so when I was a kid. So
Cam, you seem as though you know every single athlete in the
around the block.
Do you have a job?
Clearly not.
Yeah. Cam, I think one of the nice things about this course, something we haven't really mentioned, the Quayside.
Great view, yeah.
Look at the Tyne Bridge in the background. Wonderful, iconic bit of northeast architecture, would you say, Cam?
Absolutely, indeed.
Got Baltic Chambers in the background there.
We're sat down by the Quayside, we're a little bit further along at the top, where you do a hairpin loop. And we've got at the side of it, I mean, to be honest, we can hear the wind blasting off us, but we're in a studio, we're in Alex Parr's studio, so we can see the we see the Quayside. The first thing we said when we came down is the views down here are just amazing, and I think anyone who's been down the Quayside will know. Is that Matt Woody Wood?
That looks like Matt Wood. 38.45. Will he be happy with that, Cam? You'll have probably seen him training somewhere recently.
Stalking you, Matt. I'm sure he'll be happy to accompany. He had a big smile on his face.
Yeah,
I think he was away recently with Lewis Moses and Gemma Moses actually recently somewhere. So it was a holiday or a work trip. I'm sure they'll
38.45. Look very fresh.
I'm sure he'll come back and say we should joke, but we'll never know, do we? So
see all these athletes coming through just shows the volume of athletes that we've got in the event here. Streams of them coming across over the line.
To the charity partnerships that RunThrough has, they're always looking to enhance local wellbeing through charitable initiatives. The partnerships across the UK, they reflect RunThrough's commitment to social responsibility, as well as a commitment to fostering greater inclusivity and accountability in the communities. In 2023 alone, just a quick fact here actually, RunThrough raised around £11.2 million through the participation of over 200,000 runners across 214 events. Now, considering that's going to rise to 240 events this year and are continuing to grow, you can imagine that amount will grow along with the increased participation of runners. Running at the minute in social media, I mean, it's an all-time high. It's really contributing to getting people through the doors, and it's great to see anyone from any background, whether it be people who.
Well, there you go. 40 minutes. Nathan Comiskey, local boxer, crossed the line there in 40 minutes. Yeah, I think he's had.
Sports as well.
Absolutely, yeah. A few professional fights now. One to watch in the future of British boxing there, certainly.
We're just touching back again on the charitable partnerships that RunThrough has and the amount that they're aiming to achieve this year. I just said that they were trying to, that will increase naturally this year with the increase of participation and the huge increase of events. They would expect probably that they're aiming to hit around £14 million through participation of a £250,000. Runners through the events throughout the country. And also they have a continued partnership with GoFundMe as well, which aligns with reinforcing RunThrough's commitment to charity and the community alone, which is, great to see, isn't it, Red?
Yeah, and it links back to that, their ambition, the mission that they've set out in 2024, looking to engage in, and host 240 events, like we mentioned earlier on the stream. That's no easy feat to get that amount of running events crammed in over a year. But it's a testament to the brand's ability, I think, to engage and motivate a wider and diverse community. Yeah. And you can just see that from the amount of athletes that are crossing the line here today down the quayside. Range of backgrounds, range, of a total diverse mix of people there. And again, it just links in with RunThrough's mission statement and what this company's about.
Yeah, and it's just touching on what you said as well. I mean, it's not just the increased participation. It also comes with helping and improve mental and physical health for people. Just getting on the trainers, getting out the door. We've all been there. We can't be bothered. We need a break, whether it be from work, whether it be from life. I mean, me personally, I don't ever tend to run with headphones in. It's rare that I do unless it's a really cold winter's night and I really can't be bothered to get the shoes on. You get them on, you get out the door. It really, really helps with your physical and mental well-being in communities, and that's what RunThrough's sort of mission revolves around: empowering individuals from low-income areas as well, with a commitment to inclusivity and innovation, to help transform that from their mental and physical well-being through running, and also as well, just to touch again on through that, and one of the ways that they do tend to do that is they offer a limited number of entries to each event. Contributing to charitable causes for free. And in 2023, actually, this is, we mentioned this in the podcast, RunThrough actually did the world's first road closed free to end mass participation event at the Warrington Running Festival. 6,000 runners. Now, to put that into perspective, how that helped get increase participation of running, 2/3 of the people who ran out of those 6,000 runners had never taken part in a race before. A similar event is now being planned for in London. Full details will be announced soon, so keep your eyes out for that on RunThrough's announcements. There will be a free event in London for runners to take part in at a running festival as part of one of the RunThrough's events. It'll be just like this. The atmosphere will be electric. You can come down for free, try running, and I'm sure everyone who participates, or the majority, will get the running bug. And I'm sure they'll be back. So there's a great commitment there from RunThrough to creating opportunities for those with financial barriers, let's say, and ensuring it's accessible to all. Because running, yourself, Rich, it's an accessible sport.
Yeah, I think that's the key thing that you mentioned there, Cam. It's an opportunity. It's a free event. There might be people sat at home that might have just landed on this stream for whatever reason, may never even ran in their lives. But what we were saying earlier about how running itself, it's probably one of the most easiest and accessible sports you can get involved in. And, the benefits of that mentally, even if it's just going out and running and walking for 5 minutes to start somewhere, the sort of the benefits on your mental and physical health of doing something like that, I think that there's not many other sports as accessible that you can just do that with, and you can go out and do it anytime you want. So the fact that then you've got these free events that are on the horizon with RunThrough, if you've never done it and you're listening to the stream and you're thinking about doing it, I think me and Cam would both be sitting here going, get a pair of trainers on, get out, try it, and then get to one of them events. And then you never know, a year down the line, you might be lining up in a 10K with your eyes on a time, thinking, right, I want to better myself today and I want to get this time done. And I think that's the beauty of these free mass participation events. I mean, 6,000 people, and the majority of them had never competed in a race like that before. I think that is...
It's phenomenal.
It's
let me tell you,
unbelievable.
in London, it's running's, like I just said, it's the popularity of running now is sort of starting to hit the roof. But to follow on from that, these events are not, they cater for everyone, runners of all abilities. And when I say running, you don't have to come along to these events and run every stride.
No.
If you want to walk it, great, do it. Everyone has to start somewhere. And let me tell you, I've never been to a running event that is not inclusive and does not encourage everyone. I can guarantee there will be some of the elite runners at the start line still stood there today cheering on everybody, clapping, encouraging everybody, people who are maybe going to be in the big race, everyone will be staying around to watch the B race. Everyone wants to watch the race. So that will actually be coming up some point soon. You'll see the B runners coming through. The B race won't be too long, so we'll still be live for that to ensure everybody gets finishes, gets themselves on camera. And we always foster a welcoming environment for everyone at run-through events. So if you're thinking about signing up for a running event, you've never done it before, and you're watching this and you think, do you know what? I could maybe give this a go. I could walk and do a bit of running, do a bit of both. If you have a disability and you think, I could maybe bring a family member along. It's free. I don't have to pay for them to enter it. I could get them. If you wanted to bring your family along and do it all together, or you want to maybe raise some money for charity, like I say, the free event will be coming up. And we do have every weekend there's events throughout the country, but make sure you keep your eyes peeled for that, because that will be announced soon.
I think for people listening to the stream and this might twig a bit of interest with them getting to one of these mass participation free events that RunThrough are kindly hosting. You can contact them, or you can find out updates through the RunThrough Twitter, Facebook, or Instagram app. And obviously the YouTube channel, and you can watch me and Cam on there delivering some groundbreaking insight in the podcasts, no doubt. But yeah, the RunThrough YouTube channel's got lots of stuff on there. They've got regular podcasts, and obviously the amount of events that they bring. There's always new content on there all the time. So I'd encourage anyone listening who's thinking about that to get on to runthrough.co.uk or dial in on any of them social media apps that we've just mentioned there. But I think, Cam, obviously we've got a little bit of a lull in athletes crossing the line at the moment. So I think it'd be a good time to, again, just recap what the top flight fixtures are over the next year or so. So I'll hit the ground running with the next one. We've got February.
First three finishes, male and female. We are going to do your presentation now. Please head to the presentation area. There is a run-through backdrop. It is just in the centre of the finish line funnel there. So that is our podium finishes. First three finishes, male and female. Please head to the presentation area.
CTS 5K.
Then I think back in August, where
congratulations, Philip McCullough.
Back on the Quayside.
5 kilometres, big event of the year. The race director Chris Parr is the host every year, which attracts hundreds, if not, was it how many thousands last year?
Yeah, I think it was over the 1,000 mark, definitely.
1,500 runners, and we had a couple of races as well. And it was a great day. I was there myself watching as well.
That doesn't sound like you, Cam. He's always watching running, this lad.
It was a great day out. A lot of the runners from around were here. Seeing Scott Beattie won it. 13:45.
Yeah, it was. It was a course record.
It was about 13:44 yards sprinted. One of Richard Hunter's athletes from Uganda. So I can see that him and the likes of Scott Beattie. He's now signed with Hope, professional athletes. The likes of the professional athletes will be at these events. So if you want to go out and see them on social media, I think the amount of events we've got around the country will be likely some of these athletes on social media will be running at our run-through events. So there's him, Rory Leonard's out there as well, the new 23 10 kilometres champion. I'm sure he'll be at one of our events soon as well. It's great to see. Looks like they're going well out in as part of the new national group. Will be based in London, I think. But anyway, moving on from the Quayside 5K in August, we've got again September. We've got the Warrington run-through the 10 kilometres, and that was last year. That was one where we had attracted 6,000 runners. It was a free race last year. So if you want to do a race and you're thinking, I wouldn't mind participating in a mass 10 kilometres race, that would be a good one to enter. Then again, back in the northeast again for the Jarrow 10K in October. I'm sure that will come around quickly. So if you're thinking about getting into that, I'm sure you can get online. And I was there last time. I was competing on that. The atmosphere was electric. There's plenty of an athlete village at the stadium where Steve Cram trains, along with his training. These all started here, so good chance to see a bit of history there.
Yeah, good northeast route there, so we've got the town in the northeast.
Your dad as well. Talking about November, final 2 events in November. High quality half marathon. That's the park again, go back there. That will attract lots of mass participation event. Finally, Ribble Valley 10K, always great.
Yeah,
You've been there
great
yourself.
race. Yeah, great. Always quick.
Yeah.
Always quality fields there. But I think the idea, well, I mean, I might be wrong, but the idea that I have, or that I perceive of this top flight series is trying to bring athletes around the country more of these Ribble Valley type races. So there's quality races there, quality fields, good courses. But then obviously, you know, like we've relayed back many times in this chat that we're having about the getting back to the community and, you know, these mass participation events.
Yeah, just going to quickly round up again, because there might be some athletes out there still wanting to compete in the top flight races. You know, there's, like we just said, we've just named again, so go back if you maybe join at this point in the stream. If you want to rewind it, we went through the 12 events throughout the year in different cities throughout the country. We've got basically the way the series works is that we have first all 10th place will win cash prizes from £1,000 all the way down to £100 for 10th place. That's a big payout. There's £60,000 worth of prize money that RunThrough's pumped into this. That's a lot of prize money. To make a race series throughout the year, you have to basically, you can compete in as many events as possible as you want. If you're an elite athlete, you can get free entry into these events if you contact the race director or someone else from the RunThrough events will be able to point you in the direction. And in each event, it's a similar style to Formula One, where there are points at every race. So first place all the way to 10th place, starting with 25 points. 18 points, 3rd place, 15 points, all the way down to 4th, 6th, 7th, 8th, 9th, and finally 10th place will all score points. You compete at your 3 events to be considered for the overall standing in the year. So let's say you competed at the Newcastle 10K today. Let's say you did another 3 events or another 4 or 5 events, let's say. Out of those 5 events, it would be your top 3 placings at those events. It's not about the time. We have cash bonuses for that. Rich will talk you through the cash bonuses in a second. There's incentives not just for placing here, but also time to continue the finishes. Medals. There's also medals available at the end of every race. You will get a medal at the end of every race. So do you want to talk through quickly, Chin? So we've talked about the fact that, you know, top 3 events.
Yeah.
So if you finish, say, first at one event, 4th at another event, those points from each of those 3 will be added, tallied onto your total for the end of the year.
Yeah, you could do, you know, in the series, you can do as many events as you want, but your top 3 placing events will be taken forward. You know, as potential to lay your hands on that first place £1,000 prize. And again, you know, that extends all the way down to 10th place. That's a series prize money. So if you're in the top 10, you're still walking away with a pound from the series prize money. But to be in that top 10, you know, it's perfectly conceivable that you might finish 3rd or 4th in one of the individual races. Again, all of these races for the top 10 in this series, but also in the actual race themselves, the top 8 are walking away with cash prizes. So for today's race, you know, you've got first place walking away with £450, second 200, third 175, fourth 150, down to 8th place taking home £50. So I think, you know, that's the beauty of these events. You know, we're boxing off a lot of things, really. We've got mass participation, reaching out into the community, trying to encourage, you know, an active nation through running. But then you've also boxing off the elite aspect of things that's got dedicated prize money.
So just to quickly get back to the races, I think this looks like the B race. This just looks like they've got the tape out again for the B race.
Yeah.
Winners of the B race must be coming up pretty soon for them to be getting that out. So we'll be interested to see who that is.
Yeah, so just to note for people that are just dialing into the stream now, the B race did start after the Elite A race. So I believe that started 20 minutes after the Elite A race. But yeah, I think these athletes are all athletes that should have a PB outside of 40 minutes. So, I mean, there might be some athletes in there that are sub 40 minutes that might not be in that shape anymore, or if they're coming back from injury and just think, I want to get in a race, I want to be competitive at the front. I think the B race is for me for this event. So
there's 56 minutes on the clock at the minute, so if it's 20 minutes,
roughly 20 minutes off that.
Take about 20 minutes off that.
Yeah. Again, Cam, like we've mentioned, don't want to feel like we're banging on about it, but these conditions today, they're not what you'd want to be running a 10K.
Yeah,
exactly. I feel like the Tyne Bridge might blow over the speed this wind's going at now.
Some serious engineering and stuff.
Oh, well, Cam, if you want to know a little bit about the Tyne Bridge, I think I'm your man for it. Opened in 1928. Do you know who the first person was to cross the bridge?
Who?
Well, it was opened by King George and Queen Mary, and they were the first people to cross the roadway in a car. Do you know what car it was?
You'll have to tell me. I'm not sure. This is your area of expertise, guys.
It was a Tesla. No, it wasn't. It was an Ascot Landau. So 1928, King George crossed that bridge for the first time, and it's an iconic piece for the Northeast. I would say that.
Well, we can see 3 bridges in the background. If you look underneath that, what's the one underneath that?
Do you want to know a bit more about bridges in the Northeast? I can tell you that all day. We've got the high level behind that.
Which one's that? Is that the one?
Well, we've got the one that you can see just above, just below the Tyne Bridge in the skyline. That's the high level bridge. I think that was opened in about 1849, Cam. I think off the top of my head, there's probably about 5,000 tons of iron in there. It's not like I've researched this last night. And then just below that, you can see the swing bridge there, roughly opened in 1876, grade 2 listed. So yeah, there's a little bit of history of the Quayside there. Don't ask me any more, Cam, because
you mentioned the swing bridge. I mean, that was actually, so I've run across there in a race that maybe they stopped it now. The Great North Run used to have the Great City Games race there before. Have you done that?
I have. I've participated in them events. I've never done the mile, but obviously it's
all right. I mean, I know you've got also come for. You've got an athletics weekly cup. This man here that sat next to me what year was this? He was the forefront of Athletics Weekly.
Yeah.
A big portrait photo of this man crossing the 12 stage road relays with Morpeth when he won. So what year was that?
I think it was about 2013.
It's not that long ago, no? So
it's only 11 years. I tell you what, I haven't aged 1 year. So we can see the clock ticking away, yeah. So we're probably going to be looking at, we're getting around the 40-minute mark, aren't we, for this B race? So where you'd imagine these athletes to be at. Again, like we said, B race typically outside 40 minutes, but there might be a few that are under there that, for whatever reason, decided not to run in the A race. So we should see some action soon. I
think one of the key benefits we talked of having the 2 races, people might be sat here thinking, why didn't everybody just do the same event? Why didn't everyone? Because some people might not understand the reasoning for it. But there's a couple of reasons. Obviously, one being that safety, that's paramount to run through for their events. But since I'm not sure if the B run of the first race of the B races could be coming through because the camera's just picked up, but we'll carry on. One of the benefits of this is that if you maybe your PBs are on about 41 minutes, let's say, 40 minutes, if you are in that category, it's very rare that in a road race like this, you're going to be out here battling and challenging for a win at an event like this, where there's people all along the quayside. I mean, this is central. This is about as central as it gets from Newcastle. So there is the public all the way along. Here comes the lead bike.
Yes. So
these were the battle. Look, here we go. See how
and it's a right battle as well.
Always, yeah.
2 coming through here.
So who is this coming through to take the race?
So it looks like Sunderland Harriers 2671 in probably around about the 40-minute mark there, depending on when they set off. Approximate time it was going to be 9:20. So yeah, around the 40-minute mark there, which is what we'd expect. But I think we've mentioned this in the podcast. it's about that feel of being at the front of a race, competing and winning.
Racing, there's nothing quite
There's
like it,
nothing
is there?
better than winning a race. I don't think that feeling that you've got, like, yes, running PBs, running quick times, it's all good, but when you win the race, you know, that's something different. And I think, you know, for these athletes there crossing in first and second that we've just seen go through, they'll go on this afternoon. They'll be absolutely buzzing with that performance because they've won the big race of the, you know, inaugural Newcastle 10K.
I mean, look at the distance as well. I mean, there's daylight between the next runners, so he's clearly on that from the front. I'm sure next time he'll be in the air.
Yeah, absolutely.
And he'll go for the win on that.
Yeah.
But, I'm not sure. So we're just looking. If we were to just look at the air race, it looks like it says, which I'm not sure if we've got the results coming through yet quite, but
yeah, we'll hold off on the B race because
the results haven't quite came through. But we'll list them off.
But we can go to the A race. So we've already run through this, but we've got times now, so we can give you a little bit more insight into exactly what happened there. So we've got Cameron Allen 29:29, followed by Callum Johnson 29:29. That's how close it was at the front there. Obviously the chip times are slightly different by a second, but you know there's not much between them two lads at the front there. And I think it just came down to Cam Allen probably having that, being that little bit sharper and being able to finish that race, you know, a little
race
bit
fit
stronger.
as well. I think this is Callum's first race for a couple of years.
So Callum will be looking to build on that performance. It's still a positive performance for Callum Johnson. I mean, for both guys anyway. 29:29 in these conditions, you know, phenomenal running. Followed up in third place by Dennis Kiplanga. A little bit of drift there, and I think it shows how much these guys were rallying, because with about 1,000 metres to go, Dennis Kiplanga was on the back of that group, and they took 16, 17 seconds out of him over the last 1,000 metres. That just shows how much them lads were motoring at the front there. And then in fourth place, we've got Lawrence McCaw. Again, consistently up there, Lawrence. He was up there at Jarrow 10K. I think he was about fourth there.
He was around about.
He was around about there,
Yeah,
and
he's very consistent.
And I'm sure at the Quayside 5K back in the summer, another run-through event, I think he was around about fourth place there as well. So, you know, consistently performing there for Lawrence. And, you know, he might be a little bit disappointed to not walk away with a PB, but he's around his PB, and yeah, he's had a good run there. Following that, we had Joe Armstrong in fifth place, 30:55, another sub 31 minute performance there. So we've got 5 of the elite males there in under 31 minutes. Then we got sixth place, Alex Kilby, 31:02, Alex Brown, 31:10, Jordan Rowe, 31:22, Joseph Wilson, 31:28, and Monty Watson in 31:54, who was a vet 35. So again, a great performance from him there. Just touching on the vet category, Stephen Jackson, vet 40 in 32 minutes dead. It looks like he was the first vet 40 over the line there. I think Cam, you're going to be able to bring us maybe some news on the female top 1, 2 and 3 and sometimes.
Yeah, so we've got like we've just already talked about, Jasmine Wood, 33:37.
That's a phenomenal run.
That's a whole minute in these conditions off her time. You know, I knew she was training well. Like I said, I've seen her training recently. She was a little bit sceptical. I spoke to her before. A little bit sceptical about the fact she had barely slept this week with having 3 submissions due. You know, I know last night she told me she only got 6 hours. So,
Cam, obviously you've got a bit of insight into what Jasmine's thinking going forward. Obviously, she's ran 33:37 there. Big PB. What's next for her?
Well, as far as I'm aware, she's running indoors. She's now being advised by none other than Alan Story. So that's no surprise that her PBs are being smashed out of the park. And I'm sure he'll be delighted for her with that result. She, like I said, this is the lady I was talking about that we only started at a run-through event 3 or 4 years ago, probably 4 years ago now maybe. Yeah, she is now running for England, and she smashed her personal best out of the park there. I would not be surprised if she knocks a big chunk of that again in her next race. But she is dropping down the events. I think she was a marathon runner originally, She just talked through with, I think, with Alan's story. Alan, one of the most experienced coaches that
oh, absolutely, yeah, wealth of experience.
Lots of experiences, some absolutely phenomenal runners, and I'm sure that he will be. I think why Gala, he's wanting her to work short distances as with himself, Rich, that some dropping on the shorter distances, improving your shorter distances in events does contribute to decreasing the times in longer events. So let's say you're a marathon runner. Actually, 10 kilometers will contribute to improving a marathon considerably. So
yeah, it's a balancing act, isn't it, Cam? And I think it depends for her and Alan. Depends what the end goal is, really, where they're going to go with things, what they're going to focus on in the summer. Obviously, she's in a place right now where her strength and endurance is it's up high. But if you're saying that she's chopping down and heading to the indoors, that naturally that is going to win, because you can't be 100% at every element. But I think the encouraging thing for her is knowing that actually I'm in a really, really good place with my endurance at the moment. So now I can really focus on that speed endurance element of things and work down.
Absolutely, I think it's something that she's probably still getting used to when you come from she's kind of the opposite way. Most people start at the shorter event, start flying legs.
Yeah.
And then they tend to work their way up. And she's doing the opposite. She sort of dropped down, similar to what Sam Harrison did, but not the same. She, like I say, she started the marathon. It's kind of getting used to running the shorter event, pretty quick, or you can run 200 reps in under 30 seconds. Marathon runner, from top that natural speed, you can kind of want to utilise and develop your shorter events first.
100%.
And you see that, for instance, Edition Colgan, she's due to debut her marathon soon. I mean, if you look at her range of events, she can if she really trained for it, she can probably break all.
Oh, absolutely. You can see that pedigree is in Eilish, going slightly off topic here, but you can see that pedigree is in Eilish by the way that she moves when she's in full flow. And I think that's always a sign of an athlete, just the way that they move. Yeah, exactly.
She's great to watch, and that just kind of puts it into perspective that to be really good at marathon, you'll see marathon runners who will go out and they'll in their build-up they tend to run 10 kilometers, they'll run a half marathon maybe. I've seen Phil Session this time last year. He just banged out a 2:08 marathon. I think he's going to build up for another marathon, but he was running 3,000 meters indoors. He beat the world champion indoor 15 meters. Celebrating.
Yeah, you see a lot of the athletes coming across the line now. Yeah, I love to see that, Cam. You'll be the same. I love nothing more than to see athletes coming across the line with a big smile on their face, celebrating like that, because they're going to go and with just positive feelings about it, because they've done something, they've achieved something that day, they've got up, they've got on with something, and they've achieved something. And there's now better than seeing how these athletes coming across it. No matter where they're at on the scale of things, to them or to him right there when he crossed that line, that really meant something. So absolutely. I love that.
Well, it's like we touched on before, isn't it, Rich? Everybody's goals are different in this race.
Yeah.
She obviously, you're watching the elites, everyone's out there to run the best or win the race. Today, it wasn't, at the front with the guys, especially, it wasn't a case of trying to win the race. It was trying to run first the best, because of the win, they're experienced enough to be able to sort of start the race and be like, what, it's not going to happen today. Too windy. Their personal best will be set on courses which are very good conditions, and it's hard to replicate that in these conditions. But everybody here will be having different. Some people may just want to complete it. Maybe there'll be a number of people here today. They'll be their first 10 kilometers, or it may even be their first.
Yeah.
Which is the beauty of these races being on the doorstep around the country. Some people come across, they celebrate. Some people are tired.
Very tired.
They've pushed themselves. Some people, they really just enjoy, absorb the atmosphere. You can see, obviously we're just at the finish line. This course is stretched out all the way up, so it probably goes out for maybe 3 miles. So there's people who are going to be on the course all the way out, and they just want to absorb the atmosphere. Some people in this race, they may just be walking it, they may be running it. Honestly, it's up to you. Yeah, and there'll be people at the end of this race congratulating each other. I was about to say that I've seen this at the Quayside 5K. However, there's bars along the quayside. There's a number of cafes. People, runners, friends. They'll all be meeting after the race. The runners, you may meet people. You can come to this race on your own. Meet people here. And next thing, you've made friends for life. You've joined running groups, social groups. You could be at a cafe now. People can go for a pint together, celebrating the fact that they've run a race. And also as well, one of the benefits of this race is it's only 10:10. The race is over.
Yeah.
You've got the rest of the day ahead of you. So
I think the thing you mentioned there, location of races is a massive thing. And I guess traditionally, you would maybe not have like these type of races on the quayside, like when you've got all this, you've got a bustling high street 2 minutes up the road. Like you mentioned, you've got coffee shops, you've got bars all around this area, places to have food. So actually, it becomes more than just the race, because these people, no doubt, these people are gonna finish the race, they're gonna cool down, they're gonna go get a coffee somewhere, they're gonna go get a bit of food somewhere. And I think that's one of the really good things about the run-through events, is the locations of their events and the things that go with them. The fact that there's an athlete village there where you can, an event village where you can leave your bags, you can leave your kit, it's safe. It's a clean area. It's not like it's just, in a random field somewhere where you're dumping your bag. You don't know whether it's going to be there when you finish. I'm sure we'd have done that with cross-country races or 10K races in the past. The way that this is geared, it just gives these athletes just this different experience and all positive stuff. And it's them little things that I think that really make an event like this. And you don't get that. You don't get that with every single race you go.
A lot of the races, it just depends on the type of race. Another guy celebrating.
Yeah.
He's
well done.
Great to see. There's another one. Hands across the line. Hands up in the
Cameron,
air.
would you celebrate? Did you have a go-to? I mean, I know you didn't win much, but if you did win anything. No, what was your go-to celebration?
Well done, Michael. Congratulations, Adam.
It was wind and face. I tried to put my hands in the air, and there was I think it was the Chronicle. Excuse me. I think it was in the Chronicle newspaper or the Northern Echo, one of the two. And there's a huge sort of like a half-page image of me winning, and it's like my arms are like half in the air as if like you're doing like a strongman pose. My eyes are shut, my hair's just blown back. It looks absolutely terrible. So I don't think celebrations are really my thing to be fair, but I guess you just go for it. It depends on type of races, doesn't it?
Yeah,
I've done a few different ones. You can get a bit cringy.
Did you ever? I was going to say, did you ever see you were approaching the race thinking, I'm well clear here? Did you ever think, I'm going to celebrate? I'm going to style this out for my Instagram?
Do you know? Alright, it's probably been a few since I've won a race where.
Oh, I did mention that earlier.
Still, Instagram, I didn't really think I was thinking about this for a few years ago. You're right.
Yeah.
I think now, maybe. What about yourself? I mean, probably a bad one to mention. Actually,
yeah, I think you just got to go with the one arm up in the air, index finger out. I'm number one. And just let people know what you're
kiss
about.
on the finger.
Yeah, maybe a grab of the best badge as well. Give it a little shake. Yeah. But no, great to see all these athletes coming. They're coming through in the hundreds. It seems like this is going forever. But we've got so many athletes in these races. It just shows how good this event is. For the first one to have this amount of athletes coming through. I clocked one of the local school dads there, Johnny Howard, coming across the line a few minutes ago. I said he mentioned he'd watched the podcast during the week. I said, if I see you coming across that line, I'll give you a shout. So Johnny, well done. That was a great run for you. Hopefully you've got the time you're after that.
Well done, Johnny. I think it's like we're saying, but you were just saying now they're coming through the numbers right now. So the benefit of this is, if you're maybe thinking about starting out a race, is that maybe you've never done one before, is that the chances are that if you go and do a race, one of run-through events, should I say, is that you will always have people around you, so you won't be on your own. Well, the chances of that happening is very minuscule. You'll be surrounded by people encouraging. Quite often the runners, he's smiling as he comes across the line, another one. They'll all be encouraging each other as they're going along, shouting at each other. I hear it all the time in races where they're saying, "Well done, lads! Keep going, lads! We've got this."
Yeah.
And it comes back to what RunThrough, one of their goals is the inclusivity as well as the accessibility and diversity, and that is
runners of all abilities, from 5Ks all the way through to marathons, always fostering a welcoming environment to everyone, regardless of ability. So if you're thinking about starting a race and you're thinking, do you know what, I might start a race, go on the RunThrough website, find your local RunThrough event, get it done. Just don't think about it, get on with it. Afterwards, I can guarantee you'll be happy you did it.
Yeah, Cam, I think that's a great bit of advice there. Get on the website and get enters, or any of the social media platforms. You know, runthrough.co.uk. We've got Twitter, Snapchat, Instagram, Facebook. There's plenty of forums or places to get hold of RunThrough and get entered in an event. I think the right thing you said there was just do it, just enter the event, and then you're going to have to do something about it. Exactly, yeah, 100%.
If you don't want to train for it, don't train for it.
Yeah.
There's nothing. Plenty of, look online, look and see if there's any run clubs, local run clubs. A lot of these run clubs, majority, 99%, any ability, everyone's welcome. I've never been to an event where anyone's ever felt discriminated against the event running group. Of course, that's just one of the things, but if you're thinking about doing it and you want to get involved, look for your local running clubs, especially, and I'm sure they'll let you know best session.
It's just a good social outing as well. Meeting up with a group of people. You might not even know them. You go out and go for a run, miles. He's getting talked. You said. You make friends with people that you may not have ever came across in life if you didn't make that jump.
Absolutely.
And go run a club. Then you start going to these RunThrough events, competing in them with the group. You have a real team feel for it. Then that drives on further social events after that, and it just becomes it can become a really big part of your life. You see a little battle there going on, a little sprint finish between two athletes there. It's just it's great to see these athletes still coming through in their numbers, and they've all done a fantastic job. Firstly, by one, just getting up and getting on the start this morning. There's a celebration. Take notes. I hope everyone.
He's got too much energy at the end of that. I'm sorry. No, that's great to see. Like I just said before, run it how you want to run it. Like speed what I'm doing here. Everyone's sprinting to the line like this. You can see it's a bit of fun.
Exactly.
And also, just touching as well, and obviously you can see on the left-hand side, just behind the banner, there's two of our sponsors there. A lot of people are going, and if they're maybe unsure and don't really want to commit too much to trainings to start with, and sort of just give it a feel. There's a couple of our sponsors there, of the finish collectible, and you've also got just on the left hand side of the window, you can see the badge of New Levels Coaching we talked about earlier. To maybe get coached by GB athletes, get in touch with Lewis Mods at New Levels. Lewis about this before, he did say to me, so he's got a number of different packages available if you're interested in getting involved. Doesn't have to be as you want. Some of the guys who've got his package. They're doing that's the people who conditioning drills or the sessions to do. So yeah, like I said, get in contact with them. Those two people that are at New Levels Coaching. If you fancy maybe being coached by GD athletes.
Yeah, I think it's New Levels Coaching. Lewis Moses heading things up there. He's a wise guy, Lewis. He always was. And I think he's dedicated his life to the sport. He's had an insight into what it's like competing at the top level, and now he's transferred that over into his coaching and levels coaching. So I think anyone who's considering wanting to potentially make the next jump to the stages in their performance and considering looking at something like that, New Levels coaching is certainly certainly the way to go. Again, we'll go back to some of our other sponsors of the RunThrough events. We've got the GoFundMe, one of the big sponsors of the RunThrough events. We've also, as we mentioned, got Red Bull supplying us with caffeine and supplying hopefully some of our runners will have had a bit of that this morning. Sport shoes as well for all your running needs, anywhere from running clothing down to shoes. Sport shoes can take care of that for you.
As well as we've got the RunThrough kit there as well. I know RunThrough are selling the kit in there. Me and Richard are wearing our t-shirts right now, very, very good quality. I'm really enjoying that. I'll go for a run later on actually, because I'm really expecting to do a run. I was here early doors at Sheffield training last night, but it was a bit of a late training run this morning, so I'll do this kit later on.
What's the run this afternoon?
Just easy. I think let's talk about the story. Coach Malcolm, and things he sort of drills into you as nothing. It's a lot of mine is that if you're doing your training, it's the concept behind training. As simple as it gets, you're stressing the body, you're recovering. That's it.
Yeah.
So when I say what I mean by stressing the body and recovering is you're going out and you're doing a running section, you're running faster than what you maybe do on your easy run pace. So you maybe do, let's say, you're going to do a 10-minute run faster, but you don't want to go out and do 10 minutes flat out. You'll do do it in 1 minute intervals. Let's say 1 minute hard, not even hard, but it can just be elevated pace. Pick the pace up for 1 minute, maybe stop. You can walk or jog for 30 seconds or a minute. Repeat it 10 times, and then maybe warm up and cool down along there with that. The next day, your body needs to recover to that stress because your body's been under stress. Your body will adapt to that stress, and you will get fitter as a result. That's just the basic concepts behind training. So when I talk about recovery runs, you see this a lot online. Easy runs are easy. Do your easy runs easy, and that's how you'll improve. It's a hard thing to get your head around when you're starting running. The fact that you will get better by running easy, you just kind of assume that you just got hard. But if you don't let your body recover from the stress you've done the training the day before, your body won't adapt properly and you won't get as fit as what you probably could do if you run easy. So today I'll probably, bearing in mind, I'm looking to run under 8 minutes for 3 kilometres, let's say, or under 4 minutes for a mile in a couple of weeks, let's say. I'm going to be running tonight at about 8 minutes per mile. So don't think it needs to be easy. That's just an estimate. It could be slow. I'm just going to go out and run how I feel. So I just want to get the legs moving, get the blood flowing. So I hope that gets a bit of insight, a bit of clarity as to why you need to do your easy runs easy. Because I see a lot online nowadays where people are. I see one thing a week, where someone was saying it was an influencer online and said something along the lines of your easy runs should be easy, but it shouldn't be too easy. It should be conversational. I mean, I don't even know what that means.
Yeah, I know. There's lots of.
You've got to be careful. You get your information.
Exactly, yeah, and I think that's why we've sort of, as we mentioned, New Levels coach and ran by Lewis Moses. I think there's you'll know the age that we live in with social media. Anyone can put content out there, and if you've got a good following, people will listen to that. It doesn't always mean that your content is 100% accurate. So, your athletes have got to be careful. But I think essentially what you've been saying there, Cam, I couldn't agree more with. I think there's a time and place for your hard sessions and your fast work, and then the rest of the time is letting your body recover. Because the quality work, the way you get fit, is from the sessions. That's the key to performance. It's the sessions. Obviously, the aerobic content that you're going to be boxing off and your weekly mileage and things like that has a place, but the majority of the work comes from the sessions. So yeah, hard sessions, easy runs, if you want to keep it really simple.
Absolutely. Just to touch on that, in terms of pacing as well in these races. If you have a goal pace in mind, so you just seen. I mean, we'll see again. Probably another one will come through at some point soon. We do have dedicated pacemakers at these events. So if you look at the guy who just came through, he was wearing an luminous coloured RunThrough kit top. I think it was one of the latest RunThrough kit t-shirts. If you look at that, you can see the guy had a big antenna on his back and a backpack. He'll have a flag on his back, and it'll say maybe, let's say if your aim is to run 50 minutes for 10 kilometres, he will be running at bang on 50 minutes pace. All you need to do is look for your designated pacemaker. Before the race, there'll be people, and he'll be dotted. The pacemakers will be sort of segmented around the area, around the start line. You'll be told where to find them. You go and find the pacemaker, and there'll be a big group of you all sat on the pacemaker, and all you're doing is sitting, running together, encouraging each other, and getting through the finish line for 50 minutes. And I think another great thing to see as well is we were talking about inclusivity, accessibility, and diversity in the run-through events. We just see a wheelchair racer come through, which was great to see. I mean, that's phenomenal. I mean, look, they're on a wheelchair and they're beating a lot of the runners. So, it's RunThrough really are dedicated to making sure that these guys are not running just out there on their own, running away. Maybe just two of them, let's say. So you have two wheelchair racers. You will be amongst the runners too, and you're part of the community, and that's one thing that we're really trying to build here at RunThrough.
Yeah, it comes bainto that the inclusivity thing that RunThrough are pushing there. And these events are there for everyone. I'm not, I'm going to hold my hands up. I'm not too sure how many wheelchair athletes we've got on the race, but it's a really nice sight to see that athletes from all different backgrounds and positions coming across the line together there. So that's a lovely thing to see.
Absolutely. I'm just trying to get onto, maybe if we just quickly go through the B race results quickly. We'll quickly talk you through some of the guys who came through. I mean, on the times, we've got Liam Taylor, who won the B race. He's the B race champion. He's actually a veteran 35 as well, which is even more astounding. Not to say that veteran 35 is old, because I'm sure I'll hit that point in the next few years. 32 his time, 32:05 is the chip time that he ran.
That's a big run. That is a really big run
you
for the
almost
B race winner.
Yeah, I mean, you almost sat there wondering, like, is there a mistake there because it's so quick? I mean, great run from Liam.
Yeah,
he's definitely going to be amongst the air race.
Air race next time. He's got more in, and definitely getting pulled along.
You have second place. We've got Michael Jones, who ran 37:43, and these are all chip times that I'm going to name out, because gun time, just in case people aren't aware, gun time is from when the gun goes off at the front. Chip time, you all will have chips in your numbers so that you're accurately measured. So it's not to worry if you're in a mass participation event like this. If you're halfway down the pack and you maybe start 10-15 seconds after the people who are at the front of the line, your chip will be activated once you cross that start line. So you're not going to be missing out on any times.
Yeah, again, another great thing about the run-through events, that the chip timing.
Yeah,
and I can remember when we were competing, it wasn't even a thing, and you only really got it in like sort of the the high level races. I think it was an inter-counties cross country the first time, or an English schools cross country maybe the first time I wore a chip. Now you've got chip timing at the mass participation event. It just means you're getting an absolutely accurate time. There's no quibbling about a few seconds there. It's nailed on. This is what you ran.
And then just to move on to third place, we've got Stephen Calderwood, 38:43. We've got Laurie Johnson in fourth, 38:41. We've got fifth place. We've got Jack Henriksen, 38:56, breaking that 39-minute barrier. Great to see. We've also got Phil Giorgio, I hope I pronounced that right. Phil, I do apologise if not. Just to put it in perspective, you will be put into a position, but just to put it into perspective with regards to categories, if you are a veteran runner, so if you're in the V35 category or the V40 category, for instance, you will be put into your category positions as well. So you will be, placed amongst your category as well as in like an open field for the seniors.
Yeah, I wonder what our oldest competitor is today.
It'd be interesting to see.
Yeah, it was, because I've seen a few come across the line that are definitely of the.
Be careful where you go.
I know of the older age bracket, but I know it's great to see that we're getting people from, as we've said, that inclusivity thing, people from a wide range of ages.
Just to touch on the female first top three as well for the B race. We've got Sarah Duncan with 39:08 winning the race there. Great run, Sarah. Well done. We've got Alexandra Walker in 39:16.
Close.
Great,
Very
right?
close.
Very close. Like we were talking about earlier, we were talking about, you know, the fact that when you're in a race and you're at the front of a race that, you know, you may not be like in the A race, for instance, you're in the B race, but it's more catered for your the times that you're running. You can really race that, and it looks like that's what's happened here. Those two have had a real battle there, so I'm sure that will have been very exciting for them too. And then also in third place we've got Izzy Sharrock, and that's 40:13. So great run from Izzy too. I'm sure she would have smashed that 40-minute barrier if it hadn't been for the win today. But you know, like I say, great run. You know, the course is really flat as a pancake, and I'm sure this will be on again this time next year. We'll be back to Newcastle to do the Newcastle 10K. So do look out for that. Like I said, next race we've got up is the Wiggly Group Warwick Half. So if you're looking for a good quality half marathon and you are watching today, or you maybe aren't watching this live but you come back to watch this after, get involved, get on the website, get signed up, and we'll see you in Warwick.
Yeah, I think, you know, a great thing about this Top Flight series as well, probably one thing we haven't mentioned, we've listed the fixtures and what they are. It's the range of distances you've got in these events here. You know, if you're say you're a 5K runner and half marathons maybe a little bit too far for you, but you think, oh well, I've got a 10K in me. You know, there's many options there for 5Ks and 10Ks. Maybe you're a half marathon guy, woman, and you want to be targeting these halves. There's a few half marathons scattered in there as well, and then you can drop down to 10K. So actually, the range of races in this Top Flight series as well, again, it caters for a lot of athletes, either side of that, you know, 5K athletes all the way up to your half marathon athletes. So you can even be pulling in the winter months, you know, your 1500 metre runners from the summer season that'll be, you know, no doubt training for the longer distances in the winter to build that endurance up for the summer. The 5 and the 10Ks, again, ideal for them. And, you know, you're going to have a range of abilities at those races as well. And I think that's, another key thing about this Top Flight series.
Yeah, it's great. It's great to see. And like I say, we've still got runners coming through now.
Yeah,
I mean,
absolutely.
Just as we were talking about before, you know, me and Rich were saying that the runners of all abilities are here today. You know, some of these guys, I'm not saying these guys will have walked some of it. I don't really know, because we don't know what's happened or where they've run. I'm sure they ran it all the way. But you will see guys coming through at some point who, for a little bit further back, who maybe the first events, and they decided they just want to get the feel of and see what it's like to run a race. And it's something that's new to a lot of people, and something that we really encourage. And me and Rich we've both competed internationally before. So we've been at the top, and you know what? We love to see new people at these events. We love it, and we love to see the community of running growing, the impact it has on your physical and mental well-being. Something that RunThrough is very, very passionate about. So do get signed up for a race if you're thinking about it in the near future.
Yeah, like we mentioned, getting signed up for these races, runthrough.co.uk.
He's got a wheelie bin on his back.
No, that is impressive.
That's got to be a charity.
Yeah. Oh, here we go. We've got a team account. Oh, yeah. It's a bit of
advertising. I'm sure that's probably
there.
a sponsor that he's got for his charity, that he's a charity run that he's doing. So
I tell you what, a wheelie bin on your back in these weather conditions.
Some guys, yeah.
It could be an advantage. If the wind catches that in the right way.
You should have opened the lid up. Shouldn't have shut that down, should he? He should have just took off. It'd have been away like turbo.
You see, talking of the wind, we can feel it. Looks like it's picking up again outside the studios here, and we can see the RunThrough banner clinging on for dear life there, trying not to get swept away into the Tyne.
I just to touch on the wheelie bin, I've just checked T McKenzie and Son. I'm not sure I'll give them a shout out just in case, but T McKenzie and Son, Skip Hire and Waste Management, just in case they're a sponsor for a charity. Could be just advertising his business, but just in case they're doing that for a charity and make it worth the guys worthwhile. So
yeah, either way, credit to him for knocking out a 10K with a wheelie bin on your back.
I thought it was a washing machine.
There is a guy that's done races around the northeast with a washing machine on his back.
What's the world record, I think? Something like that.
Yeah.
Stuff, the half marathon, something. But yeah, look, like I say, there's Lowfell, some more local clubs being involved, but there are people from all around the country who are entered today. So don't think that you can't enter one of our events if it's not in your area.
Well, you can make a weekend away of it, Cam.
Absolutely.
I think that's the thing, what we're saying about the locations of these events. You know, obviously we're from the northeast, so we know this area well. But you could quite conceivably come up on a Friday night, race your 10K, have a weekend in Newcastle, head back home on the Sunday. And I think the good thing with these events is they're all in sort of nice locations where there's plenty to do around that area as well. So hopefully that inspires people to sign up and maybe make the travel up to the northeast or down south to box off some of these run-through events.
Absolutely. And now, if you are thinking about watching one of our events in the future, I'm sure at some point in the future we'll be able to get if the weather prevails, then we'll be able to maybe get down to the course at some point and chat to some of the elite athletes in the upcoming races. Maybe hopefully at some of the Battersea Park 5K in April if the weather's a bit better. Maybe the HSW solicitors and Newcastle 10K maybe see how the weather goes, but. Yeah, it's great. Like I say, we've really enjoyed today. We've enjoyed reporting on and sort of being able to sort of give you hopefully some kind of an insight both from the elite perspective and RunThrough's missions and give you some more information on the races. This is an Olympic year, remember, so we will likely see some Olympians in these races at some point, whether it be before or after the Olympic Games for the preparation, or whether maybe they get the Olympic Games out the way and they think, you know what, through the back half of the year, we're gonna go out and we're gonna rest for some money before the seasons are over. So you utilise all that hard work they've put in throughout the winter. So if you are thinking about signing up, like I say, and you're thinking, do you know what, I wouldn't mind toeing the line with someone who I've seen at the Olympic Games on television, get on, have a look, entered in one of your local run-through events. We've mentioned the Top Flight series, of course, a number of times, but this isn't the only races we have. Run-through have races all over the country every week, so have a look around and see what you fancy. Like
we mentioned, Cam, looking to host 240 events over 2024, so there is ample opportunity to get out there, get running, and get involved in something new. If you've never done it before, RunThrough is that's the company to go with. That's the type of races you want to be getting in there, because there's so much accessibility, so much opportunity there. So runthrough.co.uk, dial into any of the apps, Instagram, Snapchat, Twitter, or Facebook. I think me and Cam are going to be about wrapping things up. It's been a pleasure doing the build up to this race, getting involved in the podcast, and doing a bit of research into the athletes. If you haven't already seen that podcast, yes, it was a preview of the Newcastle 10K, but there's lots of run and chat in there. So feel free to dial in on the RunThrough YouTube channel.
We will be filming, just in case people are wanting to, look at the podcast, the next podcast. We will be filming for the weekly group Warwick Half Marathon, which is coming up shortly in February, coming up soon. So if you are interested in watching a podcast and watching a preview on the half marathon, and you're thinking about entering it and want some more information on it, we will be posting the podcast, which is a live video podcast of the race, all the information, all the entries, everything you may need to know about the Warwick Half Marathon and the course and how you'd enter maybe, and some of the highlights that may be prevailing. So do check that out if you want to.
Absolutely. So I think it's probably about time for us to clock off and maybe get a Red Bull down us, Cam.
Yeah,
get a little caffeine boost. So for me and Cam, it's been an absolute pleasure this morning. I hope you've enjoyed our commentary, and have a good day, have a good weekend.
Great. Thanks very much, guys. Well done to everyone who rented as well. We'll see you at the next race.
You smashed it. The feed was unreal all the way through.
Have you got some photos?
Yeah, loads. Got loads of stuff, yeah. Got loads behind the scenes. We've got this full video as well.
I think it was, because I think, to be fair, it's like I told you, when you get into it, it's fine, isn't it? Like
the first 5 minutes was the hardest bit.
Because you don't want it, you think, oh shit, have I said the wrong thing? But actually, people don't really.
No, I didn't care about that. It's just like, when you just feel a little bit awkward.
Can you airdrop that to me, please? Yeah, that was quality. I think.
No, it was good. Good bit.
And I think it was good as well. Like we could have stopped it, but there was still 100 people on the whole time. There was still 100.
How much was there before we finished it?
How many did it get up to?
Oh, when they were across the line, 350 or something.
Family and friends will want to watch it as well, though, won't they? So that's why.
There's 85 people still watching it now.
Tell you what was hard though.
85 people still watching it.
The feed went proper.
Yeah.
And didn't it?
Yeah, but
See
it
who
was still
doing
unreal on the.
Yeah.
Now I didn't want to show you that.
What's this on here? This is a video. Why is it on that? Why is it not on YouTube? You should have just put
Oh
on,
shit!
like. No way.
Oh, you turned it down.
You could hear us on there, couldn't you?
Oh, could you? What did we say? We didn't sound bad. We didn't
No, we
sound
were alright,
bad.
we were
No,
alright.
we just said it was.
We just said well done. We just
and-
said well done, like well done, lads. And
And you just.
How much was it before we finished it there?
Did it get up to?
No, that's
When they were across the line, like 350 or something.
Family and friends all wants to watch it as well, though, aren't they? So like that's
There's
why.
85 people still watching it now.
Tell you what was hard though.
85 people still watching it.
The feed went proper.
Yeah.
And didn't it?
Yeah. But it was still unreal on the. Now I didn't want to show you that.
What's this on here? This is a video. Why is it on that? Why is it on YouTube? You should have just put on.
Oh shit!
Okay.
I don't think it's too bad. I really don't think it's
Oh,
too bad.
that could have been really bad.
That could have went really.
Yeah, I mean, but it was fun.
Oh,
What did we say? We didn't sound bad.
Like, that's good now. That's a good house, isn't it? You could just go blank on it on that, like just. No, that's
When they were across
Huge congratulations to all our 10K finishers. They're all fantastic. Well done, Amy, Sophie, Patricia, Matthew, Laura, Flavia, Thea and Claire.
Well done.
Well done, Philip. If you have enjoyed running today or if you've been using a spectator and thanks for giving it a go, you can help me have lots of various distances coming up. Very closely followed by another 10K finisher as well. Well done to Robin, well done to Taylor. Congratulations Emma, well done Nicole. Congratulations, Denise! Woo-hoo! Wow,
You're right. If I bring a group battle running and stuff to get like a shot on the line, it's not going to hit you what you're doing. Are you doing like an all-in-one thing?
congratulations to all our runners finishing today. You're all amazing. Thank you so much.